I'm at a border crossing between Manitoba and Minnesota, and this is where people need to check in by iPad if they're going to the U.S. or by phone if they're coming into Canada. Over here, the community of Northwest Angle is the northernmost part of Minnesota, and it only exists because of a surveyor's mistake in 1755. It's the only part of the United States outside of Alaska north of the 49th parallel, surrounded on three sides by Canada, cut off from the U.S. mainland by Lake of the Woods. It has no land connection with the rest of the state. The only way to get here by road is through Manitoba. Tourism, fishing is really the only livelihood for people who live here. So, as you can imagine, the tariff war with Canada and threats to make it the 51st state hit close to home. Lodge owner Kelly Knight is already feeling the pinch of high grocery prices, but she supports Canada fighting back against tariffs and talk of annexation.
I think that the Americans need to feel the pain, like we honestly do. Like we need to be woken up to, and I'm willing to, like make it hurt a little bit so that we understand that this is not how you play nice. This is not how you cultivate good relationships. And we need to get along with our neighbors. I think that's more important than anything. We just, yeah, it feels like the schoolyard bully is winning.
Oh boy.
Paul and Karen Colson also own a resort. He's American, she's Canadian, but they both think President Donald Trump is doing the right thing for Americans.
We all know the reason Canada doesn't need a military is because they're next door to the United States. And I used to tell friends I golf with up in Falcon Lake, I said, you know, when we start getting into political debates, I said, tell you what, when you guys go into the hospital, I said, you should say a little thank you to the U.S. military. And like, why is that? I said, because you wouldn't be able to afford to have national health care and a military.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be enough money.
So how do we get to a win-win situation?
Yeah. Good question. Well, I think there's always going to be compromise.
They're not holding the cards. They're not. Okay? Canada
there's
is 10%.
cards on both sides.
Canada is 10% GDP of the U.S.
Yeah.
There is no winning this for Canada.
No matter what their political stripe, the one thing most people here can agree on is they'd like Canada and the U.S. to go back to being good neighbors. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Northwest Angle, Minnesota.